They said rock was dead, that it had vanished from the charts, buried beneath trap beats and synth hooks. But that's not the whole story. Because while the spotlight shifted, rock didn't disappear. It evolved. Quietly, stubbornly, and, with more bite than ever, it just grew up. Rock's disappearance from the mainstream. In the early 2000s, rock still held a prominent place in mainstream music, with bands like Linkin Park, Green Day, and Foo Fighters dominating radio airplay. However, as the 2010s progressed, rock's presence on top charts began to wane. Pop, hip-hop, and EDM started to define the sound of a new generation, and Billboard's Top 100 became increasingly devoid of guitar-driven tracks. Critics and fans alike began to question the genre's relevance, with some declaring rock officially dead. But what really happened wasn't a funeral. It was a transformation. Rock didn't vanish. It stepped out of the spotlight and into the underground, where it began to reinvent itself. The genre started to shed its mainstream skin, embracing a more experimental and diverse approach that resonated with a dedicated, if smaller, audience. And what it became down there? That's where the story gets interesting. The underground pulse. Beneath the surface, a new wave of rock was taking shape. Bands like Turnstile, Bad Omens, and Sleep Token began building massive cult followings, not through traditional radio play, but through grit, experimentation, and fan loyalty. Turnstile's fusion of hardcore punk and alternative turned heads, not because it was trendy, but because it was authentic. These weren't radio-friendly three-chord songs. They were raw, genre-bending experiments that reminded listeners what made rock dangerous in the first place. The underground became a lab for innovation, and fans noticed. They weren't just listening, they were sharing, creating a grassroots movement that breathed new life into the genre. But they weren't just listening, they were sharing, and the platforms they used changed everything. The power of social media and streaming. In the past, getting noticed meant getting signed. Now, one viral video can launch a band overnight. TikTok, Spotify playlists, and YouTube reactions have become rocket fuel for rock's resurgence. Songs like Just Pretend by Bad Omens gained traction not because of radio play, but because fans made them matter. Guitar breakdowns became shareable moments. Lyrics became TikTok trends. Even classic tracks from Nirvana and Metallica found new life as Gen Z stumbled across them online, often for the first time. Rock became algorithmic, and that turned out to be a good thing. But the sound itself, that wasn't staying in a neat little box either. Rock's evolution through fusion. Today's rock isn't about sticking to tradition. It's about mutation. Artists are borrowing elements from trap, electronic, indie, even R&B, and creating something entirely new. Look at Post Malone, a hip-hop artist who openly idolizes Kurt Cobain, or Youngblood, who flips between punk energy and pop melody without blinking. Even artists like Bring Me the Horizon have evolved from deathcore into genre-defying soundscapes that challenge what rock even means. For purists, this might feel like heresy, but for everyone else, it's an evolution that's made rock exciting again. And while the sound evolved, something else was coming back. Something loud, sweaty, and impossible to replicate online. The return of live rock. Live music isn't just back, it's booming. After years of lockdowns and live streams, people are hungry for the raw energy of real instruments and roaring crowds. Bands like Greta Van Fleet, Foo Fighters, and Måneskin are filling arenas. Festivals like Download Festival and All Points East are selling out in hours. Even legacy acts like Metallica are breaking attendance records. There's something primal about live rock that no algorithm can imitate, and fans are showing up for it in force. But the legends of rock aren't just relics, they're fueling the fire in a surprising way. Legacy bands still rock the scene. Classic rock isn't just surviving, it's mentoring. Bands like Metallica, Pearl Jam, and the Rolling Stones are not only still touring, they're releasing new music and actively influencing younger acts. Dave Grohl continues to champion up-and-coming artists. Ozzy Osbourne collaborated with Post Malone, Even Blink-182 is back with new albums and sold-out tours. The old guard never left. They just shifted gears. And for new artists, these legends are proof that rock's roots still matter. But this revival isn't confined to the US. It's a global echo. Rock is going global. From South Korea's ex-Binary Heroes to Germany's Electric Callboy, rock's international scene is exploding. These bands aren't just copying Western styles. They're infusing rock with regional flavor and energy. Latin American rock scenes are thriving. Japanese bands like Band-Maid and One OK Rock are building massive global audiences. Rock has become a universal language again. Loud, emotional, and borderless. So if rock isn't dying and it's not underground anymore, what comes next? The future of rock. The future of rock won't be about chasing trends. It'll be about rejecting them. It'll live in the rebellion of tone, in the refusal to be clean or polished or predictable. As more young people pick up guitars instead of laptops, and as technology enables DIY production, rock becomes a canvas again. Not a genre, but a mindset. And with the rise of AI-generated music and synthetic trends, the raw imperfection of rock might be exactly what the world needs next. Rock isn't dead. It never was. It just got tired of the spotlight and started something new in the shadows. And now, it's stepping back into view, older, louder, and more unpredictable than ever. Not dead, just grown up.